Hey everyone, I'm Cayden.
I'm Kyran.
And I'm Maegan.
And welcome to our podcast, CKM.
Care?
Know,
And manage.
Because when you care what goes in your body,
you know what truly matters.
And you'll manage your habits. That's when lasting wellness begins.
so let's kick off today's episode with a question we've probably been all asking. Is processed food really that bad for us?
I mean, processed food, I'm pretty sure we eat it every day. Most of us can be like bread, cereal, or even that healthy granola bar.
Exactly, but what does processed food actually mean? And are all processed food automatically bad for us? Or is there more to the story?
So today we'll be breaking it all down. What counts as processed food? Why is it everywhere? And what are some smarter choices we can make without feeling guilty?
So grab your snacks, processed or not, and let's get started.
So guys, do you know almost everything that we eat now is considered processed? From bread to oatmeal. But like, is that really a bad thing?
I find that people always say don't eat processed food, but actually, what even counts as processed food? So today we are all going to be talking about the different types and whether we should really be scared of it.
Okay, I'll start. What exactly is processed food? What's the first thing you'll think about?
Potato chips, cup noodles.
McDonald's, frozen food?
Yeah, snacks and all this stuff. Technically, any food that has been changed from its original state, that one is already considered processed. So simple things like when you wash, when you cut, freeze, or even cook food, all that counts. Like your frozen veggies, pasteurized milk, all of it is processed.
Really? That means the pre-cut fruits I get from NTC is also processed?
It is. But that one isn't necessarily bad. Because there's different levels of processed. Usually from minimal to ultra processed. So like minimally processed food are those just slightly processed, which are like slightly changed for convenience or safety. Example, bag salad or like nuts, roasted nuts, or frozen fruits. All is still quite natural, not much change. But then there's also processed ingredients like sugar, oil, butter, salt, all these kind that you add to your food. All these are extracted from natural food to use for cooking.
Okay. So when we cook with sugar or oil, so that's also processed. But it's still okay because we're not eating it by itself, right?
Right. But when we talk about the ultra processed food, the one on top, that one is a different story. These usually go through a lot of factory processes. For example, many additives like flavoring, coloring, sweeteners, and all the chemical stuff, all the things that sound very chemically. Well, like soft drinks, instant noodle, nuggets, all this food. Most of the time got a lot of sugar, fat, and all this.
Processing itself is not the problem. It's how much is being processed, right?
That's right. The more processed, usually the less healthier. And like canned beans, for example, or veggies, frozen veggies, it actually can make healthy eating easier. But if every meal is like cup noodle or like snacks, then of course it won't be so good.
I think that makes a lot of sense. So when they talk about cutting down on processed food, they're actually meaning ultra processed food, not really everything that comes from a packet.
Yeah, but it's not all about avoiding processed food. It's about knowing what kind of you're eating.
Okay, now I get it. So not all processed food are evil. Some may actually help us to eat like healthier. So before we jump into why processed food is bad for our health, right? Let's start with a big question. Why is it so common in our life? I mean, it's impossible to avoid it, right?
Exactly. For me, it's quite impossible to avoid eggs every day. I have to eat egg every day.
Egg processed meat?
It is.
Why?
Egg, when you cook, the cooking is really a process.
Oh, that's true.
You have to add the oil, or if you boil also, it's also a cooking process. But unless it's like egg mayo like that, it's like ultra processed already. So like just cooking is maybe just minimally processed, so it's still okay. Unless egg mayo already got egg, then the mayo also got egg. You know?
That's true. So like for me, I think for one example is every day I'll have bread. Then most of the time I'll buy those packaged bread like gardenia or like
The
sunshine bread.
bread.
Yeah.
Because for me, I think it's very easy. I can go to like supermarkets or 7-Eleven to get this like bread. And I think a lot of times people eat this processed food or like pre-packaged is because I think most important thing is convenience.
Mm.
So you always buy this, never like eat at home or anything.
I think because school that's why most of the time in the morning I won't have that much time to like prepare bread or cook breakfast. So I think this is a very easy and convenient way for me to get a breakfast. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like in Singapore, everything is so fast paced. Who has time to like cook at home, like cook from scratch? I mean, most of us are like rushing from school to the gym or like running like errands every day.
Yep.
And like all these instant like processed food, like instant noodles, frozen food, or like ready to eat meals,
Mm-hmm.
they just fit into our lifestyle, you know.
Yep.
It's like quick and convenient for us. And you don't even need like much cooking skills.
Another like big reason, probably the affordability. Because like most of the processed food, they're like mass produced using like cheap ingredients, flour, sugar, oil.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they cost less than like home cooked meal, something like that.
That's true. Like every time when I walk to like a 7-Eleven or petrol kiosk, it's like mostly snacks and drinks, like you know those ready to eat, you put in the
Yeah.
microwave.
Mm.
So yeah, I think these are very convenient because it's very fast. So I think these items are easy to sell and last longer, don't spoil. Yeah.
Yeah, like and for students like us, we don't really receive like a lot of allowance every day. So all these like cheaper meals are like more convenient and like practical for us every day.
Mm.
It's not that we always want to eat like junk food or like processed food. It's just that we just eat whatever is available and affordable to us.
Okay, then there's shelf life, which is one of the reasons why like processed food existed, why it came about. Like things like when you canning, freezing, dehydrating, all these processes to make food like prevent food from going bad.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, especially in like Singapore's hot and humid weather, right?
I think without processing, we wouldn't be able to eat like a lot of the food that we enjoy because it cannot be imported. Like some like snacks from China, like the konjac jelly. So and it's really hard for us to do groceries because if let's say we buy, then the next day it goes bad. Then it's very hard. We have to keep going. So I think like one time it was during like the COVID pandemic. I'm pretty sure everyone stocked up a lot on that the canned food, all these like
The dried food.
dried food. Yeah. So yep.
True, but here's where it gets tricky: the taste and texture. Processed food are like engineered to be addictive. You know, like all these food companies literally study what it's called this point. The perfect balance of salt, sugar, and fat. So that we keep craving all these.
Oh, no wonder every time when I want to eat potato chips, I tell myself, oh, I'm going to eat like a few pieces only. Then I end up eating the whole bag. So I think it's not just in our heads. I think it's designed this way. And of course, we can't forget about the marketing. So everywhere you look, social media ads, even our friends post. I think there's one recent trend of like eating acai bowls.
A lot of people like this idea of eating acai because everybody thinks that it's packed with like antioxidants and it has a lot of good fats and fiber. That's why it's so popular nowadays, right?
Okay, but you know that acai, like what we usually eat in that acai bowl isn't actually like pure acai. Like a lot of the cafe and store, you know, like summer acai, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they use like the puree kind of, like they mix stuff inside. For example, they blend it with syrup, fruit juice or whatever, sugar, extra sugar, to make it taste better, to make it sweet. You gotta try.
Yeah, quite nice, very sweet.
I also
I
like,
never tried before
but
actually.
the acai actually by itself is quite bitter, but then by itself is healthy. But you know when they put inside already the extra sugar and stuff, it's not as healthy as you think it is.
Yeah, you know that processing changed everything. What started with a simple berry became such a ultra processed food with all this refined sugar added into it.
Yeah, then once you even on top of the sugar, still got on top of it is still toppings like granola, honey, then sweetened fruits also.
Mm-hmm.
You could be easily like 30-60 grams of sugar in one bowl.
Damn, I didn't know there's so much sugar in the acai bowl. I was thinking about trying one, but I think I might have to think twice about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I also think I need to stop eating acai already. it's become so like normal that we don't even question it anymore. Like processed food, it's not just food. Like it's convenient. It's like comfort. Like kind of like our culture. So it's not that processed food is just everywhere, but it's like our modern lifestyle and economy are built around it. You know what I mean?
So the real question is, what does this mean for our health?
Okay, that's what we're going to dive into next. So it's the real impacts of processed food on our bodies and how we can make smarter choices without feeling guilty. Okay, guys, we have understood like the different levels of processed food and the reason why it's so prevalent in our lifestyle. So I think now we will talk about how it affects us. So I'll ask you guys some questions. What do you think are some effects of like consuming processed food?
I think like one common effect that all of us know is weight gain. Like ultra processed food contains like a lot of it's high in calorie and then has a lot of sugar, fats, and it's also like low in fiber. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I think so too. So like I read up a 2019 National Institute of Health study from the USA looked at how ultra processed food affect like our bodies. So like they took 20 healthy adults and they gave them two different diets. So one is minimally processed and the other is like ultra processed food. So for like 2 weeks each. So both diets have the same amount of calories, sugar, fats, and carbs, and they could eat as much as they wanted. So the ultra processed meal included things like bacon, bagels with cream cheese, while the minimally processed they had like oatmeal with bananas, walnuts. So actually, the participants ate 500 extra calories per day. Those that eat like the ultra processed diet, while and they gain like 2 pounds in like the span of 2 weeks. While the minimally processed diet people they lost about the same amount of weight.
So like even when like the meals, the calories, like they match and like the nutrients, the ultra processed food will lead to like kind of like overeating and weight gain.
Yep.
Maybe is it likely because they're like easier and like faster to eat?
Yeah, but like eating for 2 weeks and then they gain like so much. That's like eating one extra meal like every day, right?
Yeah, I think and the scary part is like it's not just like fast food like McDonald's, KFC. It's also like breakfast cereals or sweetened drinks that can like quietly push our caloric intake up.
Okay, I know one of the quite serious one is actually heart disease. Yeah, a lot of processed food are like full of sodium, and trans fats. You got see the label behind,
Yep.
which are both like quite bad for your heart.
So I'm gonna say another study. So a 2020 study in like the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that people who ate the most processed food had a 58% higher risk of having heart diseases.
What, 58%?
Yeah.
And this is talking about like normal everyday food that we like commonly eat, like sausages or like canned soup, is it?
Yep.
Canned soup also.
Canned soup.
I mean, like over time, all this salt can lead to like the high blood pressure, which will increase the risk of like heart attack
Yeah.
or or like stroke.
Mm.
So it's quite crazy, because heart disease is already one of Singapore's like top killers. You all know that. And honestly, our local food doesn't really help that much. Like so many dishes are fried or salty.
Like mee goreng that type.
Nasi lemak, all these.
Yeah. So I think when we look at all these effects and we put them all together, so like the weight gain, the heart diseases, and like the other health effects or physical effects, I think it's really really clear that eating too much ultra processed food can seriously damage our body and health uh in the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about all the negative effects that ultra processed food or processed food have can do to our body. So I think it's time we talk about some processed food or like benefits to our health. So I think one way is through nutrient fortification and enrichment.
Yeah, so enrichment replaces like nutrients lost during processing, like B vitamin in like flour. Fortification also adds nutrients that weren't originally there, like vitamin D in milk or like iodine in salt. So this means that it gives you nutrients similar to like cow's milk, but without the cholesterol or saturated fats. And then there's like tofu, especially the fortified kind. So many brands add calcium and vitamin B12, which are essential for bone health and energy metabolism. So tofu is also packed with plant protein, making it a great alternative to meat.
So these added nutrients will help prevent deficiencies. So for example, like iron in your cereals, it helps to like prevent anemia, which is basically iron deficiency.
But it's not a free pass, cause even though it gives you
Yeah.
so much some nutrients, vitamins, but I think the processed food can still be high in sugar, fat, salt. So but then these added nutrients, vitamins really do make a difference. I think, yeah. Then I think not all processed food are all bad. So some can actually help you keep healthy.
It's about balance.
Yeah. It's clear that like there's pros and cons, like all the processed food. But too much of the ultra processed food can harm your health. But at the same time, those things that you say, like the fortified and enriched food, which are also like processed, they also play a role in keeping keeping you nourished. So like what you said, is actually all about balance and also awareness.
Yeah, but I feel that many people still think that fresh food is always more nutritious than processed food. But is that really true though?